Introduction to the book of 2nd Chronicles. A time for hope. Restoring pride to a group of refugees. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. According to chapter 7, verse 14. There was a time when the Israelites desperately needed a new look at the past. Their ancestors had been torn from home, beaten, and dragged off in chains to serve as slaves in a foreign country. In Babylon, a new generation grew up knowing little of the Israelites' past, the covenant with God, the promised line of kings, and the magnificent temple in Jerusalem. When captive Israelites were finally allowed to return home, they found a pile of rubble. In Israel's golden age, people had traveled thousands of miles to view the majesty of Jerusalem and its temple. But to the refugees' horror, not one stone of the temple remained standing. The carved beams had all been hacked to pieces, the gold and ivory stripped away, and the furniture auctioned off or destroyed. Outside the capital, whole villages had disappeared. Vital religious customs had gone and celebrated for 70 years. Jewish culture was in danger of leaking away. The Book of Chronicles was written to those refugees who returned. For that dispirited group of people, the author recounted the glory days of Israel. He wanted to restore pride in the Israelite past and bring hope to their future. History in a New Light. Chronicles, both 1 and 2 or both 1st and 2nd, thus retells history, starting all the way at the beginning with Adam. Most of the characters are familiar, but Chronicles tells old stories in a new light. Its author isn't just reciting facts, he is delivering a word of bright hope, a pep talk to just freed refugees. Some accuse Chronicles of being, to quote, whitewashed history, especially in comparison to the Bible's other history books. True, the book barely mentions the Israelites' great failures. It says nothing of David's or Solomon's mistakes, for instance. Presumably, the refugees had heard plenty about the dark side of their nation's recent past. The books of Samuel and Kings, which ruthlessly exposed those failures, had been around for years. Similarly, Chronicles ignores the chaotic northern kingdom of Israel and the civil war Judah waged against it. Nothing remained of the 10 scattered tribes of the north, and the book wastes little space on them. Instead, Chronicles reaches higher, seeking to restore pride in the original ideals of the nation. A distant hope. The good kings of Judah, 8 in all, dominate the story. Over 2/3 of 2nd Chronicles is devoted to their reigns. Chronicles focuses on God's special relationship with the Israelites, recalling the covenant that had brought about their golden age. It reviews the religious reforms led by each king and above all, highlights the temple, the house where God's presence came to rest. If God had lived among them in the past, couldn't He do so again? How to read 2 Chronicles. You will recognize many of the stories in 2 Chronicles. About half of it closely follows other Bible passages. The author freely admits he has relied on the books of Moses, Samuel, and Kings. He also quotes from Judges, Jeremiah, the Psalms, Isaiah, and Lamentations, as well as many books that have been lost to history. But 2 Chronicles doesn't merely repeat. It weaves together stories and facts for a specific purpose, a Jewish philosophy of history. Chronicles sheds new light on that history by highlighting rare moments of peace and prosperity. Worship of the true God had made Israel strong. As you read, notice how 2 Chronicles underscores that fact by stressing the temple and the priest. For comparison, you may want to read companion passages in the book of Kings. Here, in a certain page, there is a lineup of rulers, and when read side by side, the two accounts actually clearly reveal the distinct purpose behind the book of Chronicles. Now, one of these days, we're also going to talk about or highlight on the great reformers. Now, in my Bible's main reference is found on page 392. It depends actually what Bible you use, okay? But we can do that together. Now we can take a look at what made them successful and what lessons about faith can we learn from them. For our reading plans, for Plan 1 of 2 Chronicles, we have an overview in 3 days. Day 1, read the introduction to 2 Chronicles, just like what we've done, and then proceed to chapter 20. It tells a high point when King Jehoshaphat brought the whole nation together in prayer. Now day 2, Hezekiah had an eventful life with soaring highs and deep lows. Now we can read about a national high point in chapter 30. For day 3, Hezekiah lived in treacherous times, so read of his clothes scraped with disaster in chapter 32. Now for Plan 2, all of the 2 Chronicles in 34 days. It's one chapter a day from chapter 1 to chapter 36, except that on the 16th day, you read both chapter 16 and 17, and on the 25th day, we read both chapters 26 and 27. Again, for Plan 1, we have an overview of 2 Chronicles in 3 days. For Day 1, introduction, and then proceed to chapter 20. On Day 2, chapter 30. And then on Day 3, chapter 32. Now for Plan 2, all of the 2 Chronicles in 34 days. Chapters 1 to 36 in 34 days. Alright, so that's all for now. God bless us all.